So I have the pleasure now of introducing Louise de Lannoy. She is currently the Executive Director of Outdoor Play Canada, which some of you, I'm sure, have heard of. She's done a ton with the organization. She leads the Canadian Centre for Outdoor Play and also co-led the recently launched 2025 position statement on active outdoor play. She portages a mean canoe, as you can see here in the photo. She also has a PhD from Queen's University in clinical exercise physiology, and is passionate about environmental stewardship, finding daily joy and wonder outdoors. And Louise currently resides in Ottawa, Ontario, and explores it by running, cycling, paddling, and skiing through it. So hopefully we'll find out more from Louise about her favorite mode of getting around the city, and also a little bit more about the organization Outdoor Play Canada. So please join me in welcoming Louise. Thanks so much for being here. I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks, Liz. My favorite mode of getting around the city really depends on the season. So right now it's fat biking, which today in -20 wasn't that bad because it's hard work. And so I was pretty sweaty. I'm just pressing the wrong buttons here. Okay, let me just share my screen here. Okay, so what is Outdoor Play Canada? What do we do? Where did we come from? We really came about in response to some questions that some of our founders started to have back in 2014, so over a decade ago, where there was sort of general concern that perhaps we as a society had lost the appropriate balance between keeping children healthy and active and protecting them from serious harm. There was concerns that if we made too many rules about what children can and cannot do, maybe we were hindering their natural ability to develop and learn. If we make injury prevention the ultimate goal of outdoor play spaces, will they actually be any fun, and will children actually want to participate and play outdoors? And finally, are children actually safer being indoors, sitting on the couch, online, on their devices, and staying instead of playing actively outside? And I think, I'm probably speaking to the choir here, but even though maybe some of these questions seem like an obvious, of course, it's not better to keep them indoors. There was no real collection or strong body of evidence to say that this truly isn't the direction that we should be going in terms of supporting our children's health and well-being. And so Dr. Mark Tremblay, the president and founder of Outdoor Play Canada, amongst a few others, pulled together the best available evidence on the benefits of active outdoor play for children's health and well-being. And what they found was that when children are outdoors, as you saw in those recent videos that Jackie just showed, they move more, they sit less, and they play longer. They learn to balance risky play and their own safety, that these types of behaviors are associated with improved physiological measures such as blood pressure, cardiorespiratory, and musculoskeletal fitness. And that spending time outdoors and outdoor play is associated with improved resiliency. We heard that in the video as well, self-regulation, and the ability to manage stress. And so pulling together all of this evidence, those leading this work developed the following position statement: that access to active play in nature and the outdoors with its risks is essential for healthy child development, where they recommend increasing children's opportunities for self-directed play outdoors in all settings, at home, school, childcare, the community, and nature. This was developed by a group of 14 organizations from across Canada. It was reviewed by over 1,600 stakeholders. To date, it has over 450 supporters. There's the research grade report that you can access for free online, and also the public-facing document on our website. And with this position statement, it was just really an initiative to bring all this evidence together and say this is important, and it's important based on the best available evidence at the time, which was based on 2 systematic reviews and 49 primary articles. But what the authors didn't really realize is that this really resonated with people across the country and internationally. And as a result, the position statement led to some pretty cool things in Canada and again internationally. It informed a BC Supreme Court decision in which a private citizen was trying to sue a municipality because their child got hurt on a playground. And the position statement was used as social fact evidence that that risk is an inherent part of play and play on playgrounds, and so it was overturned. It has informed both municipal, provincial, and national level policy. It led to a school culture shift, fully embracing play, I believe in the Peterborough area. It led to things like mental health resources developed and spearheaded by pediatricians here in Ottawa. It led the Lawson Foundation, which is a private philanthropic organization, again, here in Canada, to shift their strategic priorities towards supporting and advancing outdoor play. And to date, they've invested, I believe, over $11 million in outdoor play initiatives in Canada. We also saw that not only did it have wide support, but that it was being replicated and used to inform other position statements. One of the coolest things that I think that came about in response to the position statement is back when it was developed by a group of, like I mentioned, 14 organizations from across the country, including the Canadian Pediatric Society. But because the phrase outdoor play with its risks is essential for healthy child development, at that time, back in 2015, the Canadian Pediatric Society felt uncomfortable with that phrasing, and ultimately decided not to sign off as an official partner of the position statement. And some of you may know, in 2024, the Canadian Pediatric Society then published their own position statement on the essential importance of outdoor risky play for children's health and well-being. And that was really in response to the explosion of evidence on the importance of risky play for children's health and well-being, such that they came out with their own position statement, not just on outdoor play, but specifically on the value of risky play. So that felt like a real success story of you. We started here and we've gotten so much farther in just under a decade. Okay. Oh, that's too bad because, okay, so yeah, in 24, so, you heard the questions, but this is a cool infographic because it really sort of summarizes what I was just talking about. Children move more, sit less, play longer. The nice thing about the majority of the slides that I'm presenting today, you can download all of them from our website. So if you wanted this slide, you can very easily access it. But it's just a cool summary of why outdoor play is so essential for children's health and well-being. This is a position statement from back in 2015, again, available widely on our website. And the links to, I was just talking about links and you have no idea what I was talking about. So the research grade report, as well as the public facing document, all available online and for free. This is our short list of things that we noticed that were happening in Canada in response to the position statement. Okay, so here we are, we're back. The other thing that happened in response to the 2015 position statement was this general recognition that there were lots of different people involved and interested in outdoor play, but that there was no common ground, no common space to bring them together to talk about challenges, identify those things, and then work together to address those challenges. And so that's really how outdoor play came about, was to promote, preserve, and protect access to play, nature, and the outdoors for all people living in Canada. And to do the things like I just mentioned, provide strategic leadership, promote the connection and collaboration across these groups, amplify the successes of those doing this good work, and then serve finally as that central hub for the outdoor play sector. And it's not that we just do position statements, but a really great example and most recent example of how we sort of aim to achieve those strategic priorities are through the 2015 position statement and the 2025 position statement. So somewhere around 2023, we realized that 10 years was coming up on the 2015 position statement. And not only that, we also recognized that we were seeing these sort of massive things that were happening in response to it. So we saw that the Canadian Pediatric Society put out their own position statement. We saw it being replicated in other countries around the world. Australia has one, Scotland has one, I think Wales has one as well. And we're seeing a huge amount of evidence, not just on the benefits of active outdoor play for children's health and well-being, but on connection to nature, again, as Jackie so eloquently showed, on mental health and well-being, on education and learning, on connecting with your community and all these different facets that we hadn't really explored back in 2015. And so we thought, okay, well, we're thinking about doing an update. Let's not just do an update. Let's do a few ambitious things. Let's make it global in scope, because we're seeing that that others around the world have been using our position statement. So let's collate all the evidence from around the world, those other position statements together to come up with a global position statement. Let's make it inclusive of all ages. Outdoor Play Canada, though a lot of our work is focused on children, we are inclusive of all ages. We feel like play doesn't end when you stop being a child. And I think Jackie also showed that quite eloquently. And again, as I mentioned, we wanted to explore the benefits of outdoor play, not just for health and well-being, but for the health of communities, the environment, and the planet as a whole. And so we said, okay, let's do it. We have 2 years. The first thing we wanted to do in order to ensure that this was a global effort, we brought together an 11-person leadership group with representatives from every continent, as well as a 143-person steering committee from representatives across 32 different countries. So we brought this group together and we said, okay, we have the international voice, the leadership, to ensure that this really doesn't get stuck in Canada, but that it will be a true global effort. And then we said, okay, we want to explore the benefits of active outdoor play for all these different things, for nature, for One Health, for health and well-being, of course, for movement behaviors, so physical activity, sleep, and sedentary time, for education and learning, for social capital, for that connection, community connection, for maybe even human rights and policy. And we also left one last piece on emerging areas, because back in 2015, we would never have thought that all these other connections would have connected to outdoor play. And we're hoping that the same thing would be true with, yes, you can have access to my slides. You can also download basically this entire PowerPoint off our website for free in English or in French. The last thing was with the emerging areas. We felt like hopefully with this work, it will unveil, reveal new areas that we hadn't yet explored in relation to active outdoor play. So we wanted to leave that in there. And we said, okay, so here are all the different things. We came up with a bit of a conceptual framework to limit the scope, sort of limit the scope of this work. And so we led 12 systematic reviews. If any of you have ever conducted a systematic review, you know it's a lot of work. If you haven't, here's the summary of what a systematic review is. You essentially go online, you go through a couple of library databases, and you say, I want to find all of the available evidence on this topic. So on active outdoor play and education and learning. And then you go through a few databases to make sure that you're pretty thorough. And it will give you something like 7,000 articles. And then you as a group have to go through all of those. Every single article you have to go through. You do this in stages. So you have to go through, you first go through what is just the title and the abstract. Is it relevant? Is it not? Chances are they're not. You have to do this in duplicate. So everyone does this, every single paper is scanned twice. Then you have a shorter list, and then hopefully that's only a few hundred papers. And then you have to read the whole paper to make sure it adheres to your inclusion exclusion criteria. And then you whittle that down to hopefully only 20 to 30 papers, and then you use those 20 to 30 papers and you summarize all the evidence from those 20 to 30 papers on the relationship between outdoor play and education and learning. And every process has to be done in duplicate so that you don't get just one person deciding. As you can imagine, it's a huge amount of work. We decided to do 12 of these. So I think I have a few more gray hairs as a result of this process, but that's okay. We felt like that was maybe not enough evidence to collect. We also wanted to make sure, again, that this was a truly global effort. And so we, with our international leadership group, led geographic regional reviews on the UN geographic regions of Africa, Asia, Europe, Latin America, and the Caribbean, Northern America, and Oceania, to identify the state of research, policy, practice, leadership, policy, and culture surrounding active outdoor play in each of these regions. And then we pulled together all of the key findings from all of this work, and we met as a group in Seoul, South Korea, to battle it out, to sort of think about to synthesize and condense down all of the evidence that we'd collected across these now 18 reviews down into a position statement and some supporting evidence statements. So it took about 3 days, locked in a classroom in Seoul, South Korea, but kind of fun anyway, with our leadership group. But of course, we didn't want this to be just 11 people deciding what the position statement was. So we came up with the draft and we circulated it to our steering committee, our 143 person steering committee. And we said, what do you think? How does it sound? Is there anything missing? Is there anything that we need to remove? Do we need to add anything? Huge amount of responses. 95% agreement. They actually liked it, which is great on the first try, but a lot of comments, 86 comments, and pretty substantial enough that we made a lot of changes to that first iteration. And then we went back to them and did the same thing. We said, what do you think? How does it sound? Anything needs to be added, removed, etc. And at that point, we had 99% agreement. And so we said, okay, that's pretty good with our international steering committee, but we again want to make this a global effort. And so we then sent it back to our steering committee, the updated version. We incorporated those additional comments. And we said, now we want you to respond, but we also want you to circulate it to all of your colleagues and all of your networks so that we ensure that this is truly an international effort. And that's what we did. Again, huge amount of uptake. But at that point, we got 97% agreement, 269 comments. The outdoor play sector is a very opinionated group, which is great. But it was a bit of work incorporating all those comments. Luckily, we had a small armada of students helping us. And so we pulled that all together and we launched the official global 2025 position statement at our summit. It's called Breath of Fresh Air. It happens every 2 years. So on September 25th, 2025, we officially launched the position statement. And it was a pretty cool moment for all of us to be there together to do this. Here's some just photos from both the position statement as well as other parts of this fully outdoor 3-day summit in Ottawa. Okay, so just as a reminder, back in 2015, that original position statement said that access to active play in nature and the outdoors with its risks is essential for healthy child development. And in 2025, we wanted to make this global in scope, inclusive of all ages, and we wanted to broaden the scope of work to focus beyond just health and development, but the health of people, communities, environments, and the planet. And I think we got there. Oh, shoot. Huh. You know what's annoying is that this is a PDF. You can't see the position statement. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to do a quick, because I've covered it so you can do like a ta-da moment. But you can't do a ta-da moment if I can't click off of it. So you're really stretching my my skills here. I'm going to present something else. One moment. Yes. Okay, we're back. Okay, here's the 2025 position statement. That active outdoor play promotes holistic health and well-being for people of all ages, communities, and environments, and for our entire planet. It is critical given the multiple global challenges we face today, such as social health inequities, climate change, and digital addiction. Together as a collective of the outdoor play sector, we recommend increasing opportunities for active outdoor play in all settings where people live, learn, work, and play. To achieve this, it is important to collaborate across sector settings and societies to preserve, promote, and value equitable access to active play outdoors and in nature. Ta-da! So we launched this position statement. This is what it says, but it's not just a singular position statement. We had those 12 systematic reviews and 6 global regional reviews, and we summarized those down into a number of evidence statements. So active outdoor play helps us move more, play longer, and sleep better. If you can't tell, we worked with a PR company to get us out of our academic lingo and try to make these bite-sized pieces. To catalyze it, active outdoor play catalyzes sustaining health and well-being. It promotes confidence naturally. It offers a pathway to a happier, healthier planet. It builds climate resiliency and stewardship for a sustainable future. It connects communities, it facilitates diverse learning opportunities, and it helps reduce excessive indoor time. And so within the position statement, you can see each of these evidence pieces as well as the actual evidence that supports these statements. Also in the position statement, we identified a few emerging areas, things that we hadn't really been able to dive into even across the 18 reviews that we led. But we see these as sort of new opportunities to investigate, not just within our own group, but anyone who is willing to investigate this. I think for this group, some important questions may be, can active outdoor play reshape adult movement patterns? I imagine going on a canoe trip with a bunch of teenagers is probably going to get you moving a little bit more and differently. Could risky outdoor play be a key ingredient for brain plasticity? I've bolded a few of these. Could active outdoor play be a conduit for global sustainability? And I think what is often on everyone's mind with rising concerns about screen time anxiety and loneliness, could active outdoor play be a powerful antidote to the adverse effects of social media use? The answer is probably yes. We just haven't collated the evidence on it. The other thing we did with the position statement is we created a call to action and created a series of recommendations to promote active outdoor play across various sectors. And so we divided into societies, research and surveillance, policy and legislation, education and schools, public health and healthcare, urban planning, communities, families, as well as individuals. And while I won't go through all of them here today, I wanted just to highlight the education in schools call to action because it's probably relevant to many of you here. And the calls to action are fairly simple and straightforward. Encourage colleges, adult education centers, and community learning centers to integrate ongoing professional development related to active outdoor play and learning into programs. Require daily active outdoor playtime in early child education as well as K-12 school policies, and integrate outdoor classrooms and nature-based learning into educational systems. And again, you can read all of those calls to action within the position statement. And I actually invite you not just to look at the ones that apply to potentially your sector, because I would argue that most people can see themselves across all of these different groups. And this is really, if we're going to promote more active outdoor play, if we're going to get people of all ages outside connecting with each other and moving together, it's really a whole society issue. And so something that we cannot do in silos. We published the position statement in all 61 languages, again, as part of our effort to ensure that this was a global effort. And we have been translating the position statement into additional languages as colleagues approach us and say, hey, I'd like to help. So we have it available in Brazilian Portuguese, in Polish, in South Korean, in Japanese. We're translating, we've got it in simplified Chinese, that's one of the 6 UN languages, but also we're going to be translating it into traditional Chinese, Slovakian, and Slovenian. And so lots of different languages available. If there's a language, if you speak a language that's not represented here and you want to help us translate the position statement into that additional language, please reach out. We would be happy to work with you to do that. We've come up with a bit of a system to help make that a smooth thing. The position statement, I think Liz already posted on the website, is available for free to download in any of those multiple languages. We also put together a communications toolkit and a series of infographics available in English, French, and also Brazilian Portuguese, because our Brazilian colleague is just such a major champion that she's essentially just made this available. She's just translated everything that she could. All of those manuscripts, as they get published, are actively being uploaded. We just had one published today, actually. So it's all the links to all those manuscripts. So we have made them open access, so anyone can access them. Again, all the links are available on the website. We have a really cute 3-minute whiteboard video. I don't think I'm going to share it today, but again, available in English and French, summarizing all of this work. This slide deck, or like a larger version of this slide deck, is available in English and French. And we also did a summary webinar with the International Play Association, and the link is there. Also, if you feel like endorsing the position statement, if everything that I've said today really resonates with you, I encourage you to do so. We have to date 615 supporters. including only one member of parliament in Canada, we're working on getting more, who's conservative. That felt like a real win. We didn't think we would get someone who was conservative, but he saw this and he's like, yep, this is important. I'm going to put my name down. Also, again, because we have that major champion from Brazil, the Brazilian Pediatric Society endorsed the position statement. And if any of you have read The Anxious Generation, Jonathan Haidt endorsed the position statement, and that felt very exciting because I called that our first celebrity endorsement. Okay, if anything that I've talked about today is of interest, if you feel like joining us in some capacity, there's a bunch of different ways to do so. This link tree will link you to a bunch of links. One is the position statement. You also can access how to become a PlatoNet member. PlatoNet stands for Play, Learn, and Teach Outdoors Network. It is the international arm of Outdoor Play Canada. It's how we formed that 143-person steering committee, because it's a long list of over 700 members from over 60 or 70 countries from around the world. And we emailed them when we started this work and we said, hey, do you want to participate? And 143 of them said yes. So if you're interested in some international work, become a PlatoNet member. It's free. You can become an Outdoor Play Canada member, also free. If you do either of those things, then you'll get our newsletters and keep updated on what we're doing and ways to get involved. And then there's a couple of other links to things that we've done most recently. We led an international consensus framework on outdoor early child education. And also there's a link to a certificate program that we helped develop in collaboration with Algonquin College. And we have a bunch of social media links there as well. And with that, I thank you very much for your time. And I'm excited to chat.